Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of modern collectible coins, and in this video, we are going to take a long, detailed look at one of the most talked about small denomination coins in American numismatic history, the 2003 Lincoln penny in very fine condition, a coin that might seem like just a regular 1-cent piece to the casual observer, but which holds far more interest when you step into the world of collectors, investors, and rare coin auctions, because when we think about coins that can potentially grow in value, many people jump immediately to silver dollars, gold eagles, or old colonial currency, yet sometimes the most overlooked coins hiding right in plain sight are those that were minted in the billions and used daily for ordinary transactions, like the humble Lincoln cent, and that's exactly why today's topic is so captivating, because even though the 2003 Lincoln penny might not appear old, shiny, or precious, its story reveals how history, rarity, condition, and collector demand can combine to transform a coin worth just 1 cent into something sought after by numismatists across the world. So let's begin this journey by exploring the background and historical context of the 2003 Lincoln penny, then move into its unique features, rarity, current market value in dollars, and most importantly, what you as a collector should keep in mind if you own one or plan to buy one at auction. The Lincoln penny series itself is legendary, and before we talk specifically about the 2003 issue, we need to remember that this coin has been in circulation for over a century, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it was groundbreaking at the time because it was the very first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, something that stirred controversy back then but has since become the standard across all denominations. And the design chosen for the penny was by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor whose initials, VDB, would later become famous and controversial in their own right, as collectors know from the 1909 VDB varieties, and over time, the Lincoln penny has undergone subtle and not-so-subtle changes, most notably the reverse design, which went from the 2 wheat stalks of the original wheat cent, from 1909 to 1958, to the Lincoln Memorial design from 1959 through 2008, and then to the shield reverse starting in 2010. So when we talk about the 2003 Lincoln penny, we are firmly in the era of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which itself carries significance, because every single one of these coins displays not just a memorial, but an actual depiction of the statue of Lincoln inside the monument, a tiny detail that fascinates collectors with magnifying glasses. And this subtlety adds another layer of historical resonance to the series. Now, focusing more narrowly on the 2003 Lincoln cent, let's establish the basics. The coin was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with no mint mark for Philadelphia and a D mint mark for Denver, and while both mints produced hundreds of millions of these coins, which makes them sound incredibly common, the reality is that the condition, strike quality, and later survival rate determine how many of these actually remain attractive to collectors, and that is where the term, very fine condition comes into play, because grading is everything in numismatics, and the difference in value between a penny pulled from pocket change with heavy wear and one preserved with sharper details can be night and day. So let's talk briefly about what very fine means, because this is a grade assigned to coins that have circulated but still retain a significant amount of design detail. So on a 2003 penny in very fine condition, you would expect to see clear outlines of Lincoln's hair and face, strong separation in the lettering, and a reasonably sharp depiction of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, though you will also see some wear on the highest points, smoothing in the fields, and maybe light scratches. Yet overall the coin still looks attractive and definitely collectible, not junk change. The unique features of the 2003 Lincoln penny are what make it so interesting to collectors today, and while the design itself seems standard, Abraham Lincoln's bust on the obverse, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, In God We Trust, and Liberty inscriptions, and the date of issue, there are small details that can elevate certain coins from ordinary to exceptional, such as striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and other minting anomalies, which have been reported in the 2003 issues, and these errors are highly desirable because they are far scarcer than regular business strike coins, and collectors will often pay a premium for them at auction, with some error 2003 pennies even fetching hundreds of dollars depending on the severity and visibility of the mistake, which is an incredible return considering we're talking about a coin with a face value of just 1 cent. So already we see how the potential for value is hidden inside what seems like an everyday coin, and this is why numismatists always encourage you to carefully check your pocket change, because treasures can truly hide in plain sight. But what about rarity and demand, specifically in very fine condition, and more importantly, in damaged condition as well? Well, the truth is that while billions were minted, relatively few survive in higher states of preservation, because pennies are workhorse coins in circulation, constantly changing hands, dropping into vending machines, rubbing against keys and other coins in pockets, and so most 2003 pennies you find today will be heavily worn or damaged, making those in very fine condition or better stand out to collectors who are looking for examples that are sharp enough to display but not prohibitively expensive like mint state graded pieces. And while damaged coins are generally not collectible in the traditional sense, some unusual damage or post-mint oddities do attract curiosity buyers, though usually at lower values. But the broader point is that collectors prefer clean, undamaged coins. And thus a very fine 2003 penny is rarer and more desirable than the vast majority of worn examples still circulating, especially if it has good eye appeal and no distracting scratches, stains, or corrosion. So what about the market value of a 2003 Lincoln penny in very fine condition, expressed in real dollar terms? On average, a 2003 Lincoln penny in VF condition doesn't trade for thousands. We're not talking about a 1909 SVDB or a 1955 double die, but it does carry a premium over face value when collectors are assembling complete Lincoln memorial sets or simply want a representative coin, and typically these coins sell for between 5 cents and 50 cents depending on grade, demand, and whether they are part of bulk lots or single specimens. But the true excitement comes when we move beyond the base value and look at the rarest errors and highest grade certified coins, because at major auctions, slabbed 2003 Lincoln cents graded MS-67 or higher have sold for well over $100, with some approaching $300 depending on strike quality and red luster, which demonstrates that even modern pennies can command serious money when they combine rarity, quality, and collector demand. Condition rarity, historical significance, and market trends, and the 2003 penny in very fine condition checks several of these boxes. It's part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series. It represents the final years before the design transition to the shield reverse in 2010. It exists in a condition that's better than the average pocket change survivor, and it sometimes appears with fascinating mint errors that can turn a 1-cent coin into a high-dollar collectible. So whether you're hunting through rolls from the bank, cherry-picking from coin dealers, or bidding at auction, keeping an eye out for these pennies can be a rewarding pursuit. And as we move deeper into this discussion, we'll look at tips for collectors, strategies for buying and selling, and some of the most notable auction records, because understanding the broader market is what helps you make smart decisions in building your collection and maybe even profiting from coins that others overlook. And so as we wrap up this fascinating journey into the story of the 2003 Lincoln penny in very fine condition, it's important to pause and realize that what may seem like just an ordinary 1-cent coin can, in truth, be an extraordinary piece of history and value, because every scratch, every detail of its surface, and every variation in strike tells a story that connects us not only to the year it was minted, but also to the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, whose portrait continues to inspire collectors around the world. The 2003 Lincoln penny, while part of a modern series, reminds us that rarity is not always about ancient age, but often about condition, errors, demand, and the stories that coins accumulate as they pass through countless hands over time. Even in a very fine condition, this penny is far from ordinary, because collectors seek it not only for its affordability but for the way it represents the bridge between circulation coins and investment-grade collectibles, and when rare mint errors, double dies, or mistruck examples appear, their auction prices soar into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, proving that the world of numismatics is full of surprises for those who pay close attention. The lesson is clear: always check your coins, because the treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Proper storage, good record-keeping, and a sharp eye can turn what looks like pocket change into a collector's prize. Even when a coin shows signs of wear, like those in very fine condition, it remains a vital stepping stone for new collectors who are building their first sets and for experienced numismatists seeking to complete their portfolios with every year and variety. And when it comes to auctions, knowledge is power. Research past sales, study grading standards, and set your bidding limits wisely so that you can win valuable coins without overspending. Remember too that coin collecting is not only about profit but about passion, about the joy of holding history, about the thrill of discovery, and about the friendships made along the way with fellow collectors who share the same curiosity and excitement. So as you continue your own journey, treat every coin with respect, no matter how small its value may seem, because every piece of copper-plated zinc tells a chapter of America's story. And before we close, here's a quick reminder. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2003 Lincoln penny and want to see more videos uncovering the hidden value of coins, please take a moment to like this video, share it with fellow coin enthusiasts, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel, because your support helps us bring you more research, more history, and more incredible stories about the coins that might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update when we reveal the next hidden treasure. In the end, whether your 2003 Lincoln penny is common or rare, lightly worn or dramatically mistruck, it deserves to be seen as more than just 1 cent. It's a symbol of history, a potential treasure, and a reminder that the smallest discoveries often lead to the biggest rewards. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep searching your change, keep learning, and happy collecting.